Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Come on in. It's a dedication to mothers. This should be a really, really, really special episode right here because we want to kind of do something different. And we want to really kind of dedicate this to mothers, specific mothers, but one mother in particular we want to focus on here, who's no longer with us, but is somebody who is legendary. But let me get some traveling music. It's a Sunday. It's Mother's Day. So let me play the mother of gospel music in the hip-hop way. You understand what I'm saying? Mahalia Jackson, the mother of gospel music. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Hey. So, give y'all a little time to come in here. Hope you're enjoying your Mother's Day. We have a special presentation for you on this Mother's Day. Y'all see the shirt? Hey. So the story's gonna move along, but first I want to just kind of get out there and say shout out to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day. Baby doll. Happy Mother's Day. Brenda Wilson, Janie Moore, Mary Evans. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. All the mothers. Hug your mother. Hug your mom. If she's with us, whether she's here in spirit or not, we celebrate all the mothers here. It goes all the way back to the Eve gene. I'll get more into that a little bit later. But you know what? As I'm sitting here going through this mother of gospel music on Mother's Day, Mahalia Jackson, I'm gonna do something a little bit softer in a dedication to moms. Give me a little something to speak over a little bit. This song is called Golden Diamonds, and it is a dedication to mothers, mine in particular. So, I kind of want to talk about a particular person here, you guys and girls. The person we're going to end up talking about is a hip-hop legend, right? And you'll see why. You may or may not recognize her name, all right? But by the end of this short special show, you should know her name, all right? We're talking about Mary Bird. And for short, affectionately, Mary B. Mary B was very, very, very instrumental. Very important. I'm wearing this for a reason, y'all. I'm wearing this for a reason. I have this on for a reason. And I'm excited about it. But again, happy Mother's Day for those who are just coming on, just tuning in. We're doing something special for Mother's Day, okay? And we're celebrating all mothers, but we're also celebrating a particular woman in particular who happened to be a mother of 7, I believe, a lover of her family, Mary B. But here's the thing. Let's just kind of jump into it. Who is Mary B? I'm pretty sure you've all seen this picture before, right? This is a picture of Salt N Pepa, right? One of the most iconic Salt N Pepa pictures that we've seen, all right? I'll throw a different one up there, and what I'm trying to get at is the hat. Those hats, those are the Kente Crown hats with the leather on them. We're going to get into a woman by the name of Mary B. May she rest in eternal peace here on Mother's Day in reference to these crowns that she crowned so many of our kings and queens with in hip-hop, starting with Salt N Pepa, all right? It's her design. We'll get into that. The Kente crown with the leather trimming and stuff like that. We'll get into that. But do you realize how important it is when you think about the fact that young black African-American kids were in a period of time that was very, very dire, not only in New York, but in the nation in general. And here you have a moment where they begin to turn to self-exploration and a cultural significance in what they're wearing. You start to see the African medallions after a while. You know, shout out to X-Clan. You started seeing Heavy D in the guys in that stuff. But let's specifically go to Salt N Pepa, because we're going to get into how Mary B, we're talking about Mary Bird here, the designer of these hats, how she created it, how Salt N Pepa even came under to understand who she was and what it was. And when they put that on, when they put those hats on, right now, you are apt to see Beyonce Knowles, her daughter, Blue Ivy, her mom. You are apt to see just about anybody in that Salt N Pepa image, that Salt N Pepa get up, but that icing on the cake, that cultural icing on that cake to create the continuity between them and, you know, the deep roots of our community is those hats. The hats by Mary B, Mary Bird, straight out of Harlem. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. Come back to me. Okay, come back to me. So that's kind of what I want to do. I kind of want to talk about that. And before we get to that, I also want to say to all the women out there who are mothers to be, and just anybody who just has a mother or grandmother, or aunts or people who are like a mother to you, hug them every day. Hug them every day if you can. If they're not here anymore, listen, break that picture out, talk about them. They are an ancestor now as it goes, and we are here to celebrate them. Mary B, a hip-hop legend, someone whose name we don't hear enough, but we're going to speak it today many, many times. May she rest in peace, but may her legacy, the legacy of her work, live on. I mean, we're not just talking about Salt N Pepa, because when you talk about Salt N Pepa, let's be clear, we're talking about First Platinum. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about Queen Latifah. We're talking about the Queen. We're talking about the Queen herself. These are the hats we're talking about. This is iconic. These are iconic figures, iconic women, iconic hip-hop icons. These people are just the cream of the crop when it comes to, like, everybody's still chasing them. And think about looking at them. You were looking at not only, poignant rappers, but you're looking at queens. Queens. And Mary B created that concept to say these are not just women who rap. These are not just good-looking girls who are talented up on the stage selling records. These are queens. These are queens. And so we owe to her to say thank you, rest in peace. And here on this Mother's Day, we celebrate her. We celebrate you, Mary B. All right. So we're going to kind of get into it. Let me see if I have some of my people here with me. Okay. So here's how we going to do it. You know.
Y'all heard, take it
you know how we do it.
Sound nice, check
Hey,
one.
we doing it like this.
Sound nice, check two.
We doing it like this.
Sound nice,
hey.
Three.
Here we
I
go.
let it rock just for a minute.
Yes.
Listen, let me give you the proper, because you already see it. You see what's going on. You know,
yes, I see you got that iconic S&P. I got my flowers for all the mothers for Mother's Day. Mwah. God bless the moms.
Listen, God bless all the moms.
All the moms.
And God bless you. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you. That's my proudest moment, raising my kids. If you're a mom, then you already know. That's first, always.
Your biggest hit.
My biggest hit.
Basically.
Yes, exactly.
Your biggest hit.
Sorry, babe.
Let's hop into it. I don't know if you got a chance to see, but I was putting up some pictures of a woman by the name of Mary B. You know, Mary Bird, Mary B for short, Harlem legend. Somebody who kind of had a little something to do with some of your most iconic pictures, work, videos. Let's talk a little bit about it. We're talking about Mary B. And first of all, before we say that, I just want to say, welcome to Cheryl Salt James to the show. I realized, because you've been here so many times, and it's like, you know, I forget to like introduce you like you're new or something.
Yeah, we old friends, Cross. It's all good.
We old friends. So I want to hop into it. Mary B, man, Mary B, how did it happen that you all came to know Mary B? You all wore those Kente crowns with authentic African material and stuff. How did that happen?
Well, as you know, back in the day before stylists and hair and makeup and glam squads and all the stuff that we have the luxury of enjoying.
All right, now we with you now. We with you. You spinning now.
I'm spinning. Am I back?
You back.
I'm back. Okay.
I'm
sorry about that.
Welcome back.
I'm on the road. I'm getting ready to kick off this New Kids tour with In Bold.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm in a hotel, so hopefully the Wi-Fi continue to be great. Yeah, so we were making it up as we go along. There's so many interesting things about that look that gets talked about and celebrated over the years. Most people know Play is an artist, Play from Kid and Play. He designed the jacket along with Herbie. He reminded me. Herbie's like, you always giving Play the props, but I helped design it too. So Dapper Dan constructed the jacket, and we were just trying to figure out a look for this great photo shoot for this great song and this great album. We went to Favor and got our boots. we wore spandex, and we needed to top it off with something. And if I remember correctly, we were at the Apollo, maybe rehearsing for going on that night, and just hanging out down 125th Street where all the shops are, and people set up their stuff outside. And so Mary had a store right next to the Apollo. And if I remember correctly, her son had the hats laid out on the table. And being girls and shopping, me and Pep, looked at the hats and was like, oh, that's interesting. And so we went upstairs and we met Mary, loved her, just an amazing woman, a hustler, just a great energy. I remember her just being so positive, and her work being amazing, like, really well done and finished nice and lined nice. And so we bought the hats from her. We did the photo shoot. Jeanette Beckman, the famous hip hop photographer, is the one who took that picture. And it ended up being such an iconic picture. Like, it's just crazy how much people use that picture and celebrate that look and that jacket. But Mary B, I feel like we've always said, this lady named Mary from Harlem, but we never got a chance to really talk about how instrumental she was in our look, because she didn't just make those hats. She made us many hats, and she also made us a couple of outfits with the Kente in it as well. So we just want to show love to Mary. Shout out to Mary. I wish I could have met her again before she passed, because she was an amazing mother as well.
Yeah.
In Harlem, that not only was helping with the economy, but also a hustler, and took people into her home. You can hear me? Am I breaking up?
No.
I'm good.
I can hear you. What I was going to tell you,
yeah.
As soon as you finish, I was going to tell you to turn your Wi-Fi off. But we've been hearing you. We've mostly been hearing you for like 90% of the time.
Okay. So go with just cell data. Turn my Wi-Fi off. That's what you mean?
Yeah. You know what? You can do that. While I kind of buy you a little time,
okay.
Because like you were saying a couple of things, and it really kind of put some thoughts in my head. I remember watching. There was an episode of the Apollo, and you all,
yes,
y'all were doing. I mean, you had the rope chains on, the chick on the side. Yes, and y'all had the hat on, and who knew that the person, the innovator, the brilliant mind, the genius, behind that concept, because let's be clear, the African crown, that Kente crown, that African crown it has an ancient history. We're talking, legitimate sitting kings and legitimate sitting queens. And then this is a person who came, reimagined it, re-envisioned it, and it became hip hop. And then it became y'all thing. And then when you get up on there and y'all doing Chick on the Side and all that, who knew that the person who was the designer of that was literally right next door to the Apollo upstairs right at that time?
With her own shop back then. Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing. I remember that Apollo show. I was dancing so hard in that video. I just looked that up on YouTube the other day. I was going hard in the paint.
No doubt.
Yes, and she made us a white one. So yeah, Mary Bird, shout out to her and her family. So one of the funny also things that happened, which made me so happy, is, speaking of mothers, my mother found my Kente hat. I didn't even know she had it. So she was moving, and you know, when you move, you find all kinds of things. And she called me and she was like, I found your Kente hat. So I went and looked at the Jeanette Beckman picture, and I wanted to see if it was the exact hat, because we had quite a few. And so here's the hat. Here's a little hip hop treasure for you that
Wow.
yes, that Mary made. And then her son hit me on IG because I had no way of getting in touch with her, and he was like, thank you for...
Oh, we're about to lose you again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy you some time.
Okay,
Yo,
so all right, go ahead, keep going on while I'm gonna figure it out. Go.
Oh, okay, I got you. That right there, I don't know if y'all just did you get it? Because I don't know if y'all peeped it, but yo, she just literally put the actual Salt and Pepper hat up. I know Universal Hip Hop Museum is about to be like, Cheryl Salt James, that hat. but it's wild because just watching and kind of listening to that or whatever, you know, shout out to your mom, you know, in a happy Mother's Day, you know, to her. But how fitting is it? Oh shoot. Okay, so it's just us. I guess she's gonna come. I guess she's gonna come back or whatever. But I was gonna say, how fitting was it that here we are talking about Mother's Day, and the person who found that hat was her mom, and you know, Mrs. James, and then here we are talking about Mary B, the mother of that fashion, the mother of those hats. Let me see if she was able to come back in. The mother of those hats. In the meantime, oh, happy Mother's Day to Barbara James. And that would be the mother of Salt. In the meantime, I gotta do this. Because I was gonna do this at the beginning. You know, as she comes back and gets with us. I was gonna do this at the beginning. All right. Now let me see if I could find something for y'all. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Okay? It's a special, special, special day. I wasn't going to do this, but I got a little time to do it. Get up. Hey, we're sitting here celebrating Mary Bird, a.k.a. Mary B, from Harlem, that gave them those hats, those crowns with the leather. Hey, I would freestyle right now if I could. Matter of fact, hey, show y'all a picture. Here we go. What you see right here in this picture, you see, of course, Salt, Peppa, Spinderella. Shout out to Peppa and Spinderella. But you also see the beautiful, legendary Mary B. May she rest in peace. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a face you need to know. It's a face we all need to know. It's a face we all need to recognize. Shout out to Dapper Dan. Shout out to April Walker. Shout out to Shirt Kings. Shout out to all of the great hip-hop pioneers as it pertains to fashion. But we need to also add that name, Mary B., and that face to it, because this is the person. When you went to your Halloween costume party and you got dressed up like Salt and Pepper and you put that hat on, that's what you were doing. You were actually paying homage to Mary B. All right. So, and I always say that it's only a few people it's only a few MCs, a few rappers that when it's Halloween, you could throw on their stuff. Or if it's a throwback 80s party, a throwback party, whatever, 90s, 80s and 90s, or whatever the case may be, it is certain artists that their image was so strong, Run DMC, that when you show up with them, nobody has to say, yo, who are you? Who are you supposed to be? By the way, that's one of the funniest questions in Halloween. Who are you supposed to be? But when you throw the Salt and Pepper on, you got that Pusha jacket, shout out to Play in Herbie, but you throw that hat on. Okay, so we're gonna keep it moving. Here she come. We're gonna wrap this up, and then we're gonna bring on some other people that's important to this whole story. Hey. That was perfect. You literally popped up as soon as your verse started. Yeah, so she's back, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together. She's back.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, so you were talking about, I was just saying how like interesting it was, almost like fate, you know, that the person who found the hat, you broke the hat out, was your mom. And here we are on Mother's Day celebrating that, in that transition of your mom to you, and then next thing you know, we start talking about Mary B. How did you get reconnected with the family?
So Mary B's son, Richard, posted a comment under the picture of me and my mom when my mom had the hat on, saying thank you for giving my mom her flowers. And I was so excited because I often think about her. Me and Pep, we think about her, and we always go, I wonder what happened to her. So through social media, which is one of the great parts, you can get back connected to so many people from your past. And
right.
So we decided to just, celebrate her today on this beautiful Mother's Day.
Yeah. No, this is a special occasion for me, because I've always really, really, really loved and admired not only my mom, but all the mothers, baby doll, my grandmother, everybody, and you, as a mom. And here we are, talking about Mary Bird. And that, it makes me feel really, really good, because one of the reasons why I really got into doing history was simply because there are certain names and certain faces that are not spoken about enough. We're not saying certain names enough. We're not seeing certain faces enough. And I kind of felt, that here I am, in a position to perhaps help speak those names again, help put those names out there and get people involved. You know what I'm saying?
It's important because it takes so many people to build an iconic brand like Salt and Pepa, and Mary happens to be one of them. And celebrating our African heritage through hip hop, the merging of the two at that time, so many people started doing it, like Queen Latifah, and, we could go on and on. Mary did a lot of people. I didn't even realize that until Richard told me, her son, that she worked with so many people after that, which is so like Salt and Peppa. Like we are pioneers in so many ways, in fashion and music, and a lot of people, like hairstylists, used to come and say, oh, give me that asymmetrical like Salt and Peppa, or give me those waves like Salt and Peppa, or, and they said that they went to Mary to get their Kente look as well.
I was going to ask you that, right? We're about to bring somebody in right now, very, very special guest, to join us. But I was going to ask you that when Latifah was out, did you know that Mary had done hers too? You didn't know?
I had no idea.
Wow.
No, yeah, but it makes sense. It makes sense now. She did a lot of people.
Makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Makes perfect sense. So we're going to bring in another very, very special guest on this Mother's Day. A little hint as to what we got going on. I'm going to throw that Mahalia Jackson back on, to give him some traveling. Bring him in. We got somebody real special coming. All right now, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome. Let me give you an official introduction. Listen, we've been talking about the incomparable Mary B. We have been talking about the iconic Salt and Peppa look, the African kente hat with the leather trim that became just so known and recognized, you know, in hip hop. But what we have here in joining us is my brother, gentleman by the name of Rich. This is Mary B's son. I want to see y'all put your hands together. His mother is a legend. We are wishing her and all the mothers out there happy Mother's Day and all of that. Welcome, brother Rich. Welcome, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, TL. Pleasure meeting you officially. I am Salt, officially, meeting you after all these years of hearing about you. And at the time I was in college, coming home and seeing the iconic jacket in the showroom and like, oh, you really working, to my mom. She became that mom to me at that moment, the cool mom. So thank you for that. She was an entrepreneur. She was a mom. She was all those things you remember, and some of those people on here will attest to. She was actually born in Jamaica, and she moved here just before I was born, had me here. So I was born here. But she called Harlem home very soon.
Wow.
I think coming through Brooklyn, and everybody goes through Brooklyn is Jamaica, right? So she ended up here in Harlem, right near the downstairs of Harlem.
And that's exactly what I was gonna talk to you about. Not only the cultural aspect, but you hit the nail on the head as soon as you came in. I was gonna ask because there's an article about her. In the article, she said at the time that her first love, and her true love was her family. And you immediately came on, man. And you immediately start talking about her as a mom. Talk to me about that. Did you realize that your mother was making such an impact, not only in hip hop, but hip hop is global. It on the world. Tell me about that. This is your mother we're talking about. What was that like?
I was getting custom suits. I'm sitting there, thinking about it, and I'm looking at pictures like, my high school graduation. My mom made my suit, and
Wow.
my girlfriend's outfit.
That was back in the day.
And the funny thing about that, and the funny thing about the outfit she made for her is, I still see people wearing that design as well.
Really? What?
So it's kind of scary to know, who she was, and I'm glad I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I know now that I'm older.
Tell us about who she was as a mom on this amazing Mother's Day, because you were giving me some information, and I remember her essence. I remember her being a spiritual woman. I remember her being a hustler. I remember her being a strong woman that took pride in her work. Tell us a little more about who she was as a mother.
As a mother, she was a great cook. Right?
She made you suits.
I'll give you a few examples. I'll give you a few examples of that. So when I was working, it was actually a time when my friends would be like, what did mom bring? What did she send? Her food was that good. And she was so nice that she would actually send food for them as well. So I don't know if people still do that. And her thing was codfish cakes. I don't know if she ever got one into you, but if you did, you was getting it, So she probably threw that in with the jackets, So she was doing a lot. She cooked, she took care of us, she made sure education was the key. So I went to Norfolk State and graduated from Norfolk State University.
Wow.
That was her proudest moment for me.
How many kids? How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest of 7.
7. And
so
you were saying that she took in people too when people needed a place to stay.
While I was at college, there were times when I came home and there was people in my room, like my room, right? Like I paid rent there, but they were there, and I just had to understand, what she was doing. Again, people don't do that anymore. She was always on the phone, and at times it used to get me upset. Like, you have your own issues. But she was always counseling people, Yeah.
Yeah. Man,
I don't know the questions, but
yeah. No, that's beautiful, man, because it isn't that like the quintessential mother, someone who is multitasking, but not like a jack of all trades and a master of none, mastering all of the things that she's doing. Because what I'm hearing is, I'm hearing her mastering the art of motherhood, which, listen, I mean, fatherhood is not easy. So I know motherhood is like another level. Mastering motherhood, mastering being a seamstress, because she's a seamstress. She was a seamstress. You know, mastering cooking. That's all creative. You got to get creative with parenthood too. You have to get creative with that. So
yeah.
I
Well, I was gonna say with the cooking was so far we'd often rent booths during Eastern Parkway and sell food.
Really?
So it was big. It was big with the food like that. You know, we'd come from Harlem with stuff with food, and she'd set up with the vendors and rent space on Eastern Parkway when it used to be Eastern Parkway back in the day.
That's a Caribbean woman for you, boy, right? 4 or 5 jobs.
No,
it.
Yeah,
absolutely. She was all of that. Yes.
You know, and you think about how much competition was out there in Harlem. I'm talking about, you walk up and down 125th Street, people are selling this, people are selling that. But your mom, in that whole operation, you all ended up on MTV. Y'all were on movies. Y'all were in film, television, you know, with the stuff that she was doing. In fact, there was some connection to Malcolm X. I believe that there was a story whereas, wait, what is this now? What is this?
Salt. Yeah.
Hold on.
With the hat.
She's everywhere. I can't stop seeing my mom.
Wow. You listen. When you okay.
Hey, thank you so much. Oh my God, thank you.
This is exclusive, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Get your screenshots.
It's the same hat, bro.
That is wow.
This is the best imitation of that hat that I've seen.
Yes.
It was the detail in this thing right here.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting because you know that what you're doing, you know you're doing something right when you become a doll. Because, you know, back in the day, they had the Michael Jackson doll and stuff. Oh, wow. Look at that, man.
That's pretty crazy. Like you said, you see your mom everywhere, because you just made me realize that it's going to be forever, right? Like, she left an indelible mark on hip hop history in the world, period. That's like, I really kind of just almost got it on a whole nother level when you picked up that doll. To imagine you all these years seeing all these images, and then your mom's not here anymore, God rest her soul, and saying, wow, there's my mom, Halloween costume, so on and so forth. Like, that's pretty deep. Like, she's still around you in so many ways. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, Beyonce knows, and I mean the who's who of popular culture. I feel like everyone's almost, you know what it's like? Here's how I liken it. I remember one time I was looking at the cover of a magazine, and this was recently, and I don't remember who it was, but it was somebody recently. They did this Marilyn Monroe inspired like cover photo shoot, and I remember saying to myself, yo, I feel like every other a female star pop culture figure has somehow or another taken a Marilyn Monroe inspired photo, right? And I'm saying to myself, but I can also say that a lot of people that I know, like I said, from the Beyonce knows on down to Carrie Hilson, told them they have literally done the Salt N Pepa look, complete with the Mary B hat. And that is, we're talking Michael Jackson's glove. We're talking, you know, it's that type of pop culture type of thing that your mom created, man.
She never stopped, man. In some of the bio that you'll get later on, you know, she had several businesses before she ended up on 125th Street. And people kept trying to knock her down and knock her down and knock her down and rob and steal and everything. I mean, it's made for TV. But, you know, to still be a legend, to that be the outcome, I don't think she saw that. She just wanted to be very humble as a mom and make sure that her kids, you know, remained out of jail and did what they needed to do education wise.
Yeah.
Because she knew we all had it in ourselves,
Yeah.
To be great, So this is very serendipitous, it's about 12 years to the date she passed. I lost my mom May 4th, 2010. And she was dying of cancer, and I knew that she probably wouldn't be here for the Mother's Day, which was always going to be the week after. So I celebrated her before, and I feel good to talk about it now. And one of the things that I was in charge of doing was putting together the celebration for her when she passed. And I ended up having 2 celebrations because, people couldn't get it together and where they wanted to come. So I always wanted to have you guys speak on her behalf. So this is final closure for me. So I appreciate you for doing this. We didn't plan this. Maybe I was trolling for 12 years, who knows? But it finally happened at the right time.
Yeah.
And I thank the sister for helping to facilitate this. I have to wear shades because, watching the preview and that you're talking about my mom like that, it is like, because I always feel that she's still here, and I only cry when I realize she's not.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you for reaching out, because it's something that I've always thought about and always wondered. So now I know, and I get the opportunity to say we love you, Mary, and we appreciate everything you've done for hip hop culture, and not just Salt and Peppa. It was an important part of, all the images that we love.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know she loved you guys.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So thank you.
It was, as a, you just looking at the fan here, you know what I'm saying? And a fan of all of this. And, to say that it was important, the importance of self-discovery for young Black people, especially at that time, in setting a foundation for pride, for being proud to be what God made you to be proud to be where you're from, your lineage, your line, and to be able to put something on. Because, let's be clear. A lot of times when you're young, you never want to throw something on that people are going to make fun of you about. Oh, man, you got that, so-and-so. But you might want to express something inside of you, but it's like, they might say something about me. But it's like Miss Mary B, she created a way to bridge the gap and made it cool for all the young people to not only self-discover, but to actually be proud and step out and say, I'm in the club, I'm at the party, I'm at the block party, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I got that Salt and Pepper hat on, Mary B. So that's kind of how I see it in importance. I think we have one more person that's seemingly going to join us. You all, it looks like we have one more person before we wrap this up. And let me give a formal introduction, with everybody else. With everybody else, I threw on some music. So I throw that Mahalia back on for Mother's Day, the mother of gospel. You know what I'm saying? As we get it ready. So we're gonna see if we can bring her in. Let me see. I just accepted it just now. Yeah. So okay, let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. What I wanted to bring up, just kind of segue into Afrocentricity. I wanted to kind of segue into something that had a little bit to do with Malcolm X, and we'll see if we can get Kelly on to talk to us, because Kelly worked, of course, directly with your mom. Having a hard time accepting this for some reason. Hopefully it goes through. But Kelly worked directly with your mom. Kelly, can you do me a favor? If you're watching, can you send me another request? Okay, it looks like you're going to. Yeah, send me another request so that we can try to get you in here. All right, before we call it a day, man. This is a special Sunday. It's Mother's Day. Again, if you're just joining, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, to the mothers in heaven, to the mothers here just in spirit, all of that, for the soon-to-be mothers. There's some flowers right there for the mothers. All right? So let's see if I can get her in here. Oh, hey, it looks like, okay, we getting it together. We getting it together now. I see some Kari. I see some Kari shells. I see some Kari shells.
How do I flip it?
Yeah, it's in the corner. It's in the corner. Just turn it around.
There we go. There we go.
Come on now. Let's give her a round of applause. Y'all, an official introduction. Okay, we have Kelly with us. Kelly worked directly on the team of Miss Mary B in the prime, in their heyday. They made it happen. You are looking at the son in the partner of Mary B. Welcome, Kelly, and hopefully, you know, you can just tell us some of those real good stories that we've been hearing. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Cheryl, it's a pleasure to meet you. Oh my gosh.
You too, Kelly.
Mother's Day for me is bittersweet. I'm a motherless child. My mother couldn't give me what she needed to give me at the time. And when I left home, I was 17 years old, bouncing around. And I ended up in the shop of Mary B. Fashions. And that's when my whole world opened up. That's when my whole world changed. So she took me in as a daughter. She took me in. That's my spiritual mother. I'm looking at her picture right now with a candle lit right now. And when you guys was talking, I was just in here. My eyes was a little swollen. I'm sitting here crying and, you know, reminiscing. And I give thanks. I give thanks that this amazing woman came into my life, because I don't know what or where I would have been without her.
Wow. Wow. That is just, that right there is a testament to not only the beautiful spirit that she had, but it just goes to show you this is the perfect time. This is the perfect day to talk about her, you know, on Mother's Day, because again, as you said, she was a spiritual mother for you. And that is just, that's admirable. I wanted to kind of jump in, because one of the things that we talked about was Afrocentricity. We talked about self-discovery, being proud of being, you know.
Still runs deep. It still runs deep with me. I dress like this every day. Every day.
Absolutely.
I mean, my name was Kelly Daughtry back then, but in the community, I'm Empress Beswitt, and that's all a part of her. You know, making me look at myself as a queen and carrying myself as a queen.
Wow.
You know?
Wow. Amen. I love that. That, you know, speaking of queen and kings and pride, there's a story that connects Miss Mary B to the making of Malcolm X. Talk about that.
Yes. Whew. We was at the shop, and it was the production manager, or Rich. What was his name again?
Brent Owens. I sent a photo. You can share it later. He has an outfit that was made by my mom as well, that she made for him.
Yes, and they was filming a scene in the Apollo Theater at the time with Denzel Washington and Delroy Lindo and a few other cast members that was there. And there was a scene where he had to run out to make him look like he's running. Well, he was running through the alleyway of the Apollo Theater. But when they looked up, they saw a window, and they had to shoot the scene from that window, and they had to find out who has that window there. And they approached Mary with it if they could film part of the movie in her shop.
Wow.
I remember that scene. That was like one of my favorite scenes in that movie.
All right. You know the scene when he runs into the bathroom?
Yeah.
That's really not a bathroom. That's Mary's shop.
I remember that back. That's in the back, right? That back room. Mm-hmm.
Yes. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
We didn't know that though.
Yeah. That was something. When she got approached with that, we had to clear out that whole shop, the fabric, the sewing machines and everything, so they could film that scene.
Wow.
And we waited all day for them to come, but they didn't come until later on that evening, because that scene had to be filmed at night.
Right.
And the family left, and it was just Mary and I up there. I remember falling asleep on the couch she had up there. And next thing you know, she come running up the stairs. Kelly, they're here. And I'm waking up, and Denzel is walking into the room, and So you know, oh, what an experience. What an experience. I will never, ever forget that. Never.
Wow, wow.
I'll share those photos with you too. I have still photos of that whole night. On the wall, the production staff, the actors that was there, young Delroy, yes, a young Spike, a young Denzel. And she ended up making some jackets for them, and there's some pictures of that as well with the Malcolm X photo in the back. Yeah.
Wow.
You talk about a game changer. She was a game changer.
Absolutely. You know, and if y'all are just joining, all right, we have, you know, a bunch of icons, a bunch of legends here. You know, we have Salt and Pepper, we have Rich, the brilliant Mary B, and the late great Mary B's son, and we have Kelly, who worked directly with Mary on the work. And you know, we're talking about those Kente leather laced crowns that she invented. There we go, right there. We're talking about those. We're talking about those. A lot of y'all didn't wore some of those. A lot of y'all went to parties and you know, that kind of thing. To be honest with you, if you ask me, it's probably gonna come back because you know everything goes in cycles.
Yes, it does.
Everything goes in cycles, and at some point you're gonna have some young kid throwing it on, thinking it's the new thing. And then we'll be here to tell them the origin story, you know, of the whole thing. You know, so just to kind of, you know, put a bow on it, we are talking about someone who technically, and here's what I'll pledge. From this point on, from here on out, we should put it in a position to win. I know I do my part, and I know Cheryl Salt will do her part in really getting people to start saying that name, to start saying Mary Bird, Mary B, in the hip hop vernacular. There's all of these museums popping up, the Universal Hip Hop Museum, and this and that, and they're having a lot of like, you know, just kind of artifacts and stuff that has to do with the different people in hip hop. She definitely needs to be represented in all of the spaces that talks about iconic hip-hop history, because hip-hop history has then gone on to shape the entire globe. And her work is a huge, huge, huge part of that. And I want to thank you all. And I want to ask one last thing. I want to ask, can everybody just give me a final thought, you know, on Mary B in her work? I want to start with you, Cheryl.
I'm just grateful for the opportunity to meet you, Rich and Kelly, after all these years. Something positive, you know, so many positive things can come from social media, and that being a conduit for me to get to talk to you and connect with you, because like I said, I often wondered about her because she was such an amazing spirit. So I appreciate you guys coming on and talking about who she was, not only as an artist and a fashion icon, really, but as a mom on Mother's Day, which is to me the most important job in the world. And as you guys tell it, she was a great mother. She reminds me of my mom. My mother is a very spiritual person. Shout out to Barbara James. And she's like the mother of mothers. She took in people, same thing. Like that was, and now her number one job is being a grandmother. So shout out to all the mothers who make so many sacrifices, who put themselves second a lot of times just to make sure that we're good. And Mary was one of those people. So I love and appreciate y'all for doing this. And I'm so happy we get to celebrate her.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
You know, Miss Kelly, the spiritual daughter of Mary B, I wanted you to kind of give us your last thought on her.
I owe so much to this woman, because looking at my life right now, it's coming full circle for what she did to me. And I'm doing the same thing to other women, to other young girls that been in the same position I've been in. And I find myself continuing her works. Continuing her works. And Mary, I promise you, I am going to do my best to continue and keep your name out there. Amen. And other people that knew me from back then, they go, okay, Mary B part 2. Okay. All right,
the legacy
Mary B
continues. The legacy continues.
Her spirit continues through me. Yeah. It continues through me. And I love her. I love her for that dearly.
Absolutely. Rich, the son. There's nothing like that bond between mother and son. You know, talk to us, man. Give us a final thought on this Mother's Day, this beautiful Mother's Day, about your late great mother, Mary B.
I have to thank Cheryl, you know, for her words. You called her once the female Dapper Dan, and they're calling her a pioneer. So to realize that you have a mom who's a pioneer, you have a lot to think about. So I appreciate that, because I always figured, you know, if I could, you know, feel her footsteps. She's a designer. I found out so many things. You know, she was in party promotion. I was in party promotion. You know, and now I'm finally pursuing my career. You know, and she's changed so many times as well. And I know that that's okay to change and to evolve, because that's what we're supposed to do as humans. And but never forget where we came from, and humble beginnings, so that we can bring the other ones who don't believe that they can make it, that, you know, showing them that they can make it. So I thank you guys for letting me be part of this discussion. When I put all that stuff together for her, I never got to speak. So this is my time to speak. And, you know, it was before social media, kind of like. So I think everything in God's time, like she said, she's very religious. So, you know, she went and became a minister as well at the end of the day. So I see you're a minister too, Cheryl. So she would be very proud of you for that too, to know that you evolved into that. So yeah, that's just mom, man, you know, making somebody feel welcome. And we need more of that.
Wow.
Amen.
Yeah, you know, you said just mom, and that's a testament to what I read in that article when she said that her number one love was her family, you know, and that's a beautiful thing. This self-taught, self-taught. Let's throw that out there.
Yeah.
This self-taught seamstress with a vision, you know, and that's what it all comes down to. You all put your hands together for these amazing people, and let's put our hands together for the spirit of Miss Mary B. Let's put our hands together for all the mothers, all the grandmothers, the aunties, the spiritual mothers, the great grandmothers. It is so important to give that person a hug, a kiss, tell them you love them, light a candle, say a prayer for them if they're not here or whatever. I'll give us some traveling music, you know, throw the God, you know, the gospel, the mother of gospel back on, Mahalia Jackson, you know, little sample there, you know, little hip hop. We gotta end it with some hip hop. Check this out right
Yes.
here.
Shout out to Kim James.
And listen, yes, thank everybody for coming, hanging out with us. Enjoy the rest of your Mother's Day. God bless you. We love you.